I'm Andrew Sherman. I'm a Texas transplant who has always been in pursuit of art as a career. I've played in bands, pursued an acting career in Hollywood, but I found it behind the lens of a camera here in Dallas, Texas. I was born in New York, I've lived in Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, but I love Dallas. There's a magical artistic scene in Dallas that mostly goes unnoticed to the outside world. This podcast is focused on what makes it so special and the people who make it thrive artistically. If you don't live here, and even if you do, you might not have heard of them. This is the Dallas Famous Podcast. So who you gonna be? Who you gonna be when you're all? This week on the Dallas Famous Podcast, it's Dev Wulf. Dev is a talented singer, songwriter, and musician with an eclectic blend of influences, from gospel and Christian rock to punk, hardcore, Americana, and roots rock. Growing up around music, Dev has always been deeply involved in the scene, including participating in initiatives like the Dallas Music Office busking program, and he's set to perform at this year's Jambaloo Fest. Dev's evolving career is marked by resilience, versatility, and a passion for authentic expression. I know you're going to love it. Here it is. The Dallas Famous Podcast.
Welcome back to Dallas Famous. We're at the Deep Elm Community Center. I've got singer-songwriter, musician Dev Wulf with me.
Hello.
Yeah, hey. Seen you in Texarkana, seen you in Dev Wulf in the Midnight House, seen you solo. And you have like a new thing starting up, is that right?
A new solo record on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did some rebranding with the How. Getting into some of that too.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to start by saying you had for me, the most surprising / best opening set I saw last year.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah, at the Kessler, it was Jimmy Gilmore and Dave...
Dave Alvin and Jimmy Dale Gilmore.
Yeah. And it was a full house, and there's a crowd of people that did not know you, and you had that room at the palm of your hand. I mean, you were, again, like I've seen you in these bands, and you're good, but there was something about that night, just you and the guitar, you just commanded that room. And that's probably why I wanted you on the podcast. I mean, we're friends, and you're great, and you're worthy, but...
Thanks.
I was just like, wow. I just want to tell everybody.
Yeah.
In fact, we did a Dallas Observer favorite shows of the year, and I listed that one, and then they never put the article out. so I'm saying it now. Yeah.
I'll take it. Well, thank you for having me on. I've been looking forward to, when you I said this earlier, but now it's on tape, so it counts. No, when I got the invite, I was really excited to be a part of this. I've always wanted to. I've been listening to your podcast. In fact, the last one I heard was with Erin Parisi.
Oh yeah,
and that was a really great interview.
She was I didn't know any of that stuff about her.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I mean, she's really.
And we're homies, but I guess the Emmy and was it Emmy nom or she won an Emmy?
I think it was.
Either way, it's amazing.
Yeah,
and a nom like that is it's stellar.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's really cool.
And that's kind of why I did this podcast, and I've said this before, but it's like I'm not from here, and so I don't know all these stories, and I don't know anything about your story, which is let's get into it. Yeah, so you're from here, is that right?
Born and raised Houston.
Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, and so how long were you out in Houston before you came here?
So born and raised Houston, moved to Dallas, technically Allen, but moved to Dallas in 2008. And really been here ever since. I lived in Tucson for a year and a half, came on back. That's a whole nother story. But Dallas has always just kind of been home since 2008. Mm-hmm. Even when I moved to a different state, Dallas was still home, and would hope that I would move back one day, and had the opportunity to do so. And been here. Been ever since.
Yeah.
Dallas just feels as much as home as Houston does.
Cool.
In fact, more so. Now my whole family moved up to North Texas. So, it's just North Texas is home.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So, for you, where did it start? Where did the music start? What was the first kind of moment where you're like, what that thing in the background is not the background, it's the foreground for me?
Yeah. So, I come from a musical family, church kid growing up. My mom sang in church. My dad, he played around and hopped from church to church singing songs. And so I kind of come from that. I have, a musical background with, extended family in Southern gospel. and like the Gaithers, if you're familiar, like they worked with the Gaithers and the Happy Goodmans and the Singing Hymn Pills. I'm sure somebody out there listening knows exactly who those people are, but
they're gospel singers.
They're all gospel, okay. Southern gospel.
Gotcha.
You know, and but I grew up around all of that, and I really didn't start getting into my first time playing anything. I mean, I've always known. I learned how to sing when I learned how to talk, and harmonies came with that, and you know, just being around that. I didn't start playing music until I was 7. I really wanted to play guitar. Mom's like, you need to learn theory, so learn piano first. And I started there. 13, grabbed a guitar. But my first, at least the first time I remember being on stage, or at least that was the most profound that started me on that path, was when I was 12. And the worship pastor of the church I was growing up in at the time assumed I had rhythm based on the fact that my mom could sing. Well, she could sing, you got rhythm. I have no idea how that logic made sense, but he's like, Sunday, show up, grab a tambourine, get up on stage. And I was like, okay. And so from the age of 12 on, or at least for a good year and a half or however many years I was doing that before I actually started getting into like playing guitar and wanting to transition from that, I was just a tambourine kid, you know, on stage. I had so many welts on my hands, which is foretelling, because fast forward real quick, you know, days of Texarkana up until today, from that span of 2019 to today, I think I've broken, what is it, 15 or 16 tambourines from hitting them too hard. There's a music video, Doghouse, where it literally breaks live on the shot, you could see. But I tambourine was the first instrument I ever played on stage.
You know what's funny about tambourine is you have to be really good, because it's like the loudest thing, and if you're off, everybody can hear it.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
You really got to know where the 2 and 4 is.
Yeah.
You got to.
It's silly to say that, but it's true.
It's really true, and I'm, you know, I could keep a steady hand, and I'll get creative, but it's nothing compared to some other people who really know how to, you know, wield a tambourine and hit all the polyrhythms and all the stuff like that. That's something I tend to try to make attempts in, but yeah, it really, the music started for me then. And when I was 13, grabbed a guitar, wanted to be a songwriter, you know. 17, so a lot of my music started in church, right? So when I was 16, 17, I became a worship leader for youth groups. And I'd been doing that, you know, moving into the big church and becoming a worship leader or worship pastor or interim of some sort for different churches. Really didn't stop leading worship, quote unquote, until 2018. Yeah.
Let me stop you for a second.
Sure.
Were you exposed to non-church music before that, or?
Yes and no. It depends on whose house I was in at the time. So, you know, I grew up in a broken home. My mom was really, she wanted to make it clear that the rule in the house is that you only listen to Christian music, period. And so I started getting involved with like Christian rock and like started listening to stuff like that. So back when Chevelle, do you remember Chevelle? Mm-hmm. When, you know, before Seeing Red and that record, their old stuff, first, second records, I started getting into that and started listening to a lot harder, you know, quote unquote Christian rock and roll. But then when I would hang out with my dad, I didn't really listen to much modern rock or secular music, as people would call it. But it would be Chicago, Elton John, Steely Dan. It would be, you know, his music that I grew up listening to. So I got a lot of that influence. I loved Chicago as a kid. I had a Peter Cetera record all to myself, you know. I did the whole thing. So it was kind of this existential journey of like, well, what kind of music? You know, I know how to play worship and I know how to play Christian, and I know, you know, some of my songs people will listen to be like, oh yeah, he definitely grew up in church, you know, and just kind of the melody lines that I choose. But I've always wanted to play rock and roll. My first band, I was a bass player in this high school. I was a sophomore in high school. It was this pop punk band. We were called, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the name of the band was I'm an Elf.
Very punk.
Very punk. I ended up joining the band when after they had put some stuff out. That's just to say I didn't come up with a name, but but I ended up joining then it became other bands, and I started getting into fronting those bands and becoming a singer. And I had that life, and then on Sundays and Wednesdays, you saw me on stage playing worship music, and I had always been leading two of those things ever since. It's some way to bleed the poison out, and the other to keep the thing going. To be a part of the church and keep pushing whatever that was, and up until 2018, that's what I was doing.
What's funny is I didn't go to church. I didn't grow up in church, but when you said your dad's stuff, I can see the connection to your music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. I hate that. In fact, I just started a new playlist called Dad Music, and it's it's Elton John's Tumbleweed Connection record. It's I love Toto, by the way, with the album. I think it's just called Album 4 or whatever, with Africa on it. Mm-hmm. That whole record, put on loop, put it in the background, I love that stuff. I love yacht rock. I love yacht rock. It's obsessive. I think that might be my Roman Empire is yacht rock.
Oh, okay. Would you say that you're playing that, or you're more Americana?
I try to bring it. I try to bring some of it in. We have a song called "Go Easy," and we added a horn. It's currently being mixed. It's a song coming out, and it's got a whole horn. I wrote the whole horn section. You could tell I was listening to Chicago. I got Daniel Hardaway, Gayka James on it, and it's a little bit. I try to give a little glimmer, But lately, I've been kind of getting into more of like Little Feat, and that kind of roots rock.
You do. There's
swampy.
There's always been, well, as far as I've heard your music, an Americana vibe. Were you listening to country, Americana stuff?
See, that's the thing. Plot twist. I never really got into country. In fact, I would say I'm not really a fan of country music as a whole. I love outlaw country. Like, I love Willie. In fact, 4 years old, I wanted to play guitar at the time because I saw Willie Nelson on a rerun of his 1984 performance from ACL. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That was the only influence Willie had on me. It was like stage. That's where I want to be.
Okay.
But I love the outlaw stuff always. Well, the 90s country is kind of starting to like grow on me a little bit. I kind of like a little bit of that. But I've never really been a country guy. Yeah. I'm a songwriter with just an acoustic guitar. So if I needed to find a genre, it's like Americana just kind of seemed more the leaning, because I have a little bit of that Southern in me as well, and just kind of made sense. It made the most sense. Americana I've always defined as the songwriter's genre, because you can call Tom Petty, the Heartbreakers, Americana, or Bruce Springsteen's rock heavy records as Americana, but then you can go more like Sierra Farrell, and you can have these more truer folk country sounds. And I felt like Americana has always been kind of a broad spectrum in that regard.
Sure.
Yeah, Americana was just like, that's an easy one.
Yeah. So what was the next band after I'm an Elf?
There's a long list there. I get so if I was to throw them out, there's I'm an Elf, New Action Hero. I had a band called Last Hour Waiting. It was a Christian rock band. Thomas Ochoa, if you're seeing this, he was my partner in that band for a long time. Really, I think, what was it? I think after that, I wasn't really in any band. No, I was in a hardcore band called The Burning is Here. The Burning, parentheses, is here. Christian hardcore metal band out of Houston. It was very short with them. I've been hopping around on a couple others.
I got to ask you, okay, so Christian, like hardcore, is that like, we're not allowed to play secular music, but we want to rock really hard?
There was this weird, there was this weird moment where it was Christians in a band, not a Christian band. So you always had these kind of bands, whether it was hardcore or rock, there were Juliana Theory is a band that I could think of. Further Seems Forever. These are some emo bands, and they were all Christians, but they weren't a Christian band. So it was there was kind of this vein of music where guys are like, well, we need to be palatable because this is kind of who we are, but we don't want to be identified as such. So we'll make music that is palatable and lyric and expressive without having to claim a faith openly type of thing. And so when you came to Christian hardcore, you had those that did proclaim, that they were, and those that didn't. Christian hardcore, I always have a special place in my heart. Like Norma Jean was, have you heard of the band Norma Jean?
Maybe brings it down.
They've been around, or Me Without You is more Christian, but Norma Jean was this hardcore band. They're still around, still active. I think they're just a band, right? But at the time, they were on a Christian label. I think it was Solid State or Tooth and Nail was the name of their record label, and something about Christian hardcore. It was melodic. The parents hated it, but they're like, this is safe. And the music that came out of that was the most creative and actually had musically had some influence on other bands that weren't necessarily identified as that.
What's the line, though? The lyrics?
Lyrics and the representation.
Okay.
Is really what it came down to. I mean, at least on paper. It was lyrics and representation. Whether lifestyle matched up or not, it was, subjective.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've got these groupies that just want to hold your hand, or
it was, but there was always just kind of like safety when you went to these shows, because even if you weren't a Christian or you weren't a churchgoer, but you were able to listen to this music and enjoy it without having to feel like you're getting like thrown into some kind of indoctrination. You're like, no, I like this band because the lyrics make sense, the music's awesome, it's identifiable and it's relatable, and I could be a part of this and feel safe in this community. And I felt like it really kind of gave way to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the first band where you were writing songs in?
All of those aforementioned. I mean, I'm not so much I think I wrote like one song.
Okay.
But after that band, all the other bands, I had some hand in songwriting with them. I was never really identifiably as the primary songwriter, except maybe like a couple. But the Christian band that I was in definitely was co-written with me and my buddy Thomas, and then another band called New Action Heroes, an emo band, and a screamo is what it became. I did that for a little bit. It wasn't really, if I wanted to write my own music, it was just me. Never really had a band. I was like, I think really it wasn't until, even Texarkana, it was a collective, and Midnight How, I kind of had more of the lyrical say.
Right. Yeah. So Texarkana, how did that come about?
So that was formed with me, Chris J. Norwood, Guy Murillo, Half Guard of Hearts, Chris J. Norwood from Knockdown Dragout, and then later Chris Pitts, who's in this band called OK Neighborhood, and our friend Kelly Huffman. And we started, just the three of us, me, Guy, and Norwood, met. I wanted to start an Americana band. I wanted to, kind of go the way of Tom Petty and that sort of thing. And so talking to Guy, and we grabbed Norwood, we all met at a bar, and we're like, you want to start a band? Yeah, sure. And one of the first songs we wrote was City Witchy Baby, which is on our first EP. And then Bonnie Lee, immediately, I think the following tune we wrote was that, or a couple songs in. And we really kind of just started there. We started in 2019, or maybe it's late 2018, early 2019, we'll say. The timeline kind of escapes. And we just started writing every week. Once a week, we got together. We accomplished writing one tune each time. And we started really kind of building our catalog off of that. And what kind of gave us the platform to jump from was KXT's Tiny Cake Contest. They were celebrating their 10-year anniversary, and they wanted to do the Tiny Desk, but they did Tiny Cake. And so we submitted Bonnie Lee as the song. It's still up. And I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt for whatever reason. Thought that was a good idea. But all of us are crammed in this room. It was Breed Studio, which is no longer there, but it was right next to the MMA studio right around the corner. We did it in there in the control room, and we won. It gave us the opportunity to open for Devin Gilfillian and Grace Potter at the Rustic, which was really cool. That was a packed house. It's like 1,200 people. Had a great time, and that was right at the end of 2019, and 2020 happened, and then that started getting weird.
So that kind of, is that what blew Texarkana up a little bit?
That's what really put us on the map, because really our first show officially as a band was in August of 2019. We had just dropped Scare Easy, the Tom Petty cover, Mudcrutch cover, that Norwood led, and our first show was at Sundown at Granada, and that's kind of where we started. But I think what really started, and the KXC played our song, so we got some airtime, and when we won the Rustic thing and got to play in front of everybody, it's like, okay, well, we're the train's moving, and from there we were able to book a ton of gigs around Dallas, Fort Worth. I think I had, up until June of 2020, I had, 25 gigs? We were getting busy. I wanted to get us busy and just get North Texas to understand and see us and understand who we were. And then March happened and lost all of those gigs. Made it real difficult. We ended up dropping the EP within that month. We're like, you know what? It is what it is. F it, rock and roll never dies. Let's drop the EP, and it was helpful. It gave people something to listen to. I mean, we got some really great streams out of that. We started breaking some numbers that that kind of surprised us. But the pandemic definitely made it hard, and it just got perpetually harder. We ended up releasing a couple of EPs after that, but. And we had a good run. I will say we did have a good run.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, you were playing piano in that one too, right?
I was a keys player for that one.
Yeah.
I was dedicated keys, which Norm would tell you every once in a while. I'd be like, "Can I play guitar? Can I hop out from this thing?" Like, you sound good on the keys though. Like, all right. Okay, cool.
It's kind of like a super group in a way with you two guys in there. You and Norwood.
It really felt that way. I mean, at the time, I didn't really see that, because I think Texarkana, in my eyes, I feel like Texarkana was the first opportunity I could get to, because I've been wanting to, I've been playing gigs here and there. I've been called out for this, which is really funny. I've been playing under different monikers solo for like a long time. I went through a name change and then a brand change, all this different stuff. I felt like Texarkana was the first time I was able to like show up and say, here I am. I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. I want to. So Texarkana was for sure my foundation in the Dallas music scene, for sure. Yeah. Because before it was just a show.
Right.
Nobody knew me.
So that kind of, I guess, gave you understanding on how to run a band, and then Midnight Howl.
Yeah, and how to work with people, which there are lessons learned.
Oh, yeah.
I made, mistakes made, lessons learned. But Texarkana, we ended up taking, I'll say this about us, is that we ended up taking, this is when Central Track was still around. And we won Best Americana Act and Best New Act our first year as a band. Oh, wow. So it to add to our opportunities, so it gave a really great platform to say, we've arrived. But I think it was now I got to think years.
I'm so bad at that.
22, 23. I might be completely wrong. But eventually, us guys and the band, we wanted to start making other kinds of music. Chris Pitts, who was drums for the longest time, started OK Neighborhood, which was kind of like a Big Thief type of band. He's from the Pacific Northwest, and so he wanted to do like this lo-fi indie band. He started making that. Chris started doing Knockdown Drag Out, and eventually I ran into an old friend named Chili Willie, played guitar. I've known him for years. And we started what was then called Dev Wulf and the Midnight Howl. And that is how that all kind of started, was looking to make different kinds of music. Yeah.
Is that still active or
the Midnight Howl?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've for the longest time it was Dev Wulf and the Midnight Howl. It still exists. It's just the Midnight Howl now. Mm-hmm. There's a whole story there. It was this opportunity for me to go solo, but not really go solo. It was like front man, led type of band, and we were coming on, hitting it heavy with a lot of gigs, a lot of shows. We recorded an EP's worth of material. There were 6 of us in the band. We had 2 piano players, Matthew Vasquez, Ben Fisher, both on keys, yeah, that was a great run for a couple of years there. Had some high turnovers for a second there. We could totally get into that a little bit. With respect to everybody, of course. And
I think that's the nature of it. It's like people.
It's the nature of a band.
If you're not, even if you are making money and being successful, like people's lives happen.
I feel like I learned one of the lessons I learned being in especially this band was a band that you could tell how a band survives. A success of a band isn't about what they've done. It's success of a band is by surviving themselves, because we're all, we're all egotistical. We all want a like-minded goal, but we all see it differently. And it could break up a band, just having a difference of opinion.
Sure.
But what makes a band successful is being able to, regardless of what happens, still exist and still find a way to have a pulse. Somebody's willing to go, no, you know what? Let's keep going with this. Mm-hmm. And I owe that I learned that lesson from Matthew Vasquez. So, the band kind of turned over and had less people go. Some people moved out of the city, and we just were in this kind of like dormant state for the longest time. And almost to this point of like, oh, we got all this music. What are we going to do? Well, I guess do we release it? Do we shelve it? What are we as a band? And Matthew comes up to me and he, was like, we got some good shit. We can release this. Let's make this happen. Let's make this exist. We got a great band. We got some great songs. Let's do it. Okay, cool. So we had already released Doghouse. We've already done the music video, and which was really fun. That came with some really great stories. And, because of that, we pushed out Antoinette. And then later we pushed out Guiding Light. And we haven't released anything, but we went back into the studio. We started kind of like, all right, who's in our band? Andrew Sapolsky, who plays lead guitar, joins, and had some alternating members for a while. Then Spud Crawley, who's the another third of Jazz Evans and the Boss Tweed, so Matthew and Spud. Mm-hmm. Spud becomes a staple member, and then Josh Lowe, who's in the band Cool Jacket, comes on, and thing just keeps going. We always played Twilight. We were playing Twilight once a month. Twilight Lounge has always given us a great home. We've been a residency there for, I think we're going on our 5th year now. Been there a long time. And, it's just, I don't know. We could get in there's so many avenues with that band we could totally get into. But yeah, but Dev Wulf and the Midnight Howl still exists. It's just the Midnight Howl. And this year we really wanted to set some goals and become less of a frontman-led thing and be like, when you think of the Midnight Howl, you see 5 of us. You see us. Mm-hmm. I still sing. I still write songs for it. I still play acoustic. I still dance around on stage. I still shake my ass and shake a tambourine. I'll still do all the things. But the Midnight Howl is the Midnight Howl.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And since doing that, it's been really freeing as me as an artist, especially on the solo ventures and playing shows and getting involved with the music scene even further because of it.
So your new thing, though, is not the Midnight Howl? Your solo? I'm confused about that.
Okay, so the confusion is a common thing, I gotta say, because I remember the Guiding Light played on KXT, and I think it might have been Waffles If it wasn't, I don't remember who it was, but I pity, because they were like, Dev Wulf and is it Midnight? What is this? I will say that's my fault for making a PR mistake, for not defining lines, because I was a solo. I wanted to be solo, but at the same time be this, but I was the face of both. So people were always like, well, which is it? And I was like, I guess yes for now. But to clarify, and I can happily say I know how to clarify it now, is that the Midnight Howl is separate from me. The Midnight Howl is the Midnight Howl. We write our own songs. We have our own catalog. We're playing a show at the Kessler this Saturday. So I don't know when this is airing, but Jan 24th.
It was a couple weeks ago, this show.
It was a couple of weeks ago, this show. We played a show. And it was promoted as Dev Wulf and the Midnight Howl. I had already played the Kessler prior, so coming back, using that name made the most sense, because it was a familiar name coming back to the stage and bringing the band with.
So this is a Midnight Howl show on that already happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll see my name, but it's the Midnight Howl.
Gotcha.
And I knew that would kind of give a little bit of confusion still, but I was like, you know what? Play some rock and roll. It is what it is. If it confuses people, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
But since that night, we've been officially, this is who we are. We're a 5-piece. How do I say? We're a 5. What did I write my bio to say? It was we're a 5-piece alternative roots rock outfit out of Dallas. The 5 of us are in many different projects at any given time, and we all come together and really bring some love to this band. And we're the Midnight Howl.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit.
Let's do it.
Dallas Music Office busking program.
Yes.
How did you find out about that? How did you get involved in that, and how did that go?
I love these guys. Jonathan and Christina are really cool people. Yes. I want to start that off by saying.
Absolutely.
And the Dallas Music Office was holding auditions a year ago now. A little more than a year ago.
Yeah, they just announced the next one.
They just announced the next one, which they invited me to come judge or watch the auditions. Judge? I don't know. It's not American Idol, but if you're listening, go. But I did it. I hopped up. It was at the House of Blues, and hopped up on stage. I was like, you know what? I saw an opportunity where I believe others didn't. And that's no disrespect to other people. If they saw it, they're like, I don't need it. That's totally cool. It's totally yours. But I saw an opportunity to say, you know what? They're saying that they can offer resources and visibility, things that I am really seeking to meet in my goals as an artist, whether with my band, the Midnight Owl, or solo. I wanted to take an opportunity to say, you know what, I want to utilize these resources. So I went, and I remember Desi 5 was on the panel. John Nicholson, Remy Riley's pops was a part of it. Christina was there. John was there. And I remember Desi seeing me hop on stage and like, what are you doing here? Like, what are you? I was like, I'm seeing opportunity.
What, like he thought you were above it or something?
Well, so I don't want to speak for everybody, but I will say this. There are people in my community who, I don't know if they necessarily think they're above it, but they would turn away from it faster than they would give it some thought. Because whether I don't need it, I don't need this, I have this opportunity, and maybe they do, and I respect that. But like I said, where musicians have ego and we see things and we're like, oh, busking, oh, doing that, whatever, I don't need it, I'm above it. Some people can kind of turn their nose up at it. And I knew that in a way, and I looked at that and I was like, that's an opportunity. I'm going to go where others won't. And decided to sign up and give it a shot. And you know what? Hell yeah, man. I'm glad that I did. I've always wanted to get into the Kessler, and because of that, because of the Dallas Music Office, I had an opportunity to, a whole bunch of other people, and I have my face plastered on the side of a 10-story building. It was just crazy stuff that and in the long run you wouldn't think are important, but that kind of visibility really did matter. And it got me into doors that I didn't think were yet accessible, which is kind of funny because in a way they are. You just got to knock loud enough. But, I saw an opportunity to say, okay, if I do this and I invest my time into this and play some street corners for nothing, for whatever goes into my tip jar, if it gets me an opportunity, then it's already paid off.
Yeah.
And because of that, I got to do like Americana Fest, play 2 stages at Americana Fest because of it, and all those other things.
It's like a lesson that I think can be taken from listening to your story. Any opportunity to really just meeting Christina and being known for your talents by these particular people, it helps more than people can imagine. I think,
Yeah.
Those are good people to have in your corner.
And they are great people to have in your corner. And I'm really excited about to see who's going to be hopping on for this next round.
Sure.
I'm really excited to see because there are some real. Everybody that did it this past year with me, my cohort, if you will, really talented.
It was amazing. I was at that showcase,
musicians.
and it was like,
I
was like, there's a bunch of people that I learned about from this.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's going to continue for sure.
I am too. I think Dallas is a music city. I think Dallas has we're an incredible well of talent that I think doesn't get enough credit. I mean, we've had obviously starlets come out, Leon, Charlie Crockett, but all of that exists. Like there are more than just the two or three or four you can name, off of that. Mm-hmm. There's wait till you actually dive in and see who's playing on any random stage, any given stage. It's the talent's just as chock full as Nashville and Austin.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Have you been in other cities and kind of got the feedback of the Dallas scene? Like how other people view us?
Yeah, yes. I think a lot. Actually, you know what I will say is that the people that I've talked to and asked about the Dallas music scene, they're like, I didn't know.
Huh.
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it was as full and robust as what it really is. And I've become, since doing the Dallas music, I've just become a cheerleader of everything that they're doing. Yeah. So I was like, y'all need to check this out. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't really think of us as, they're like, oh yeah, they have music like any other large metropolitan city has. But when people actually start looking into it, they're like, oh wait, no. Like I'm not gonna lie, I won't name. I want to be respectful of everybody that I know, but I've been meeting some talented songwriters, and I was like, I give you 2 years before you end up doing the next tour with somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, Mitchell Ferguson is out there.
Yeah, he's blowing up right now.
Blowing up. So I'll drink a beer. I freaking love it. Freaking love it.
Yeah.
And I've been watching him do this thing and gig for years.
Yeah. No, I remember shooting
there.
him at Deep Elmore Company, and nobody was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
It's great. It's just people need to understand. Like, take time. Take a peek. Look, see what we got.
Yeah. You were saying something different, but time. It's like you've been at this for a while, and it just seems like it's really starting to come together now.
Some hours.
Yeah.
Some hours. A lot of grind gigs. A lot of restaurant tours.
Yeah. I mean, like, what's the secret? Just keep going. I mean, like,
never say no to an opportunity that you think could potentially be worth it. Like the tip busking thing. A lot of people can be like, maybe. I was like, no, that's an opportunity, and I didn't want to pass up. The risk, the reward is greater than the risk. So what? I got to play 2 hours on a street corner. Okay, it's free practice.
Yeah.
I got better as a performer in the year I was doing this than I had been for the years I had been like on stage at a church or whatever, because if it's just me and no one's listening, but I have to do this thing, I'm going to learn new ways of singing my own songs. I'm going to find unique ways of learning. It's an opportunity to learn a new cover tune. It's an opportunity to be like, okay, if I sing it this way, whose attention do I draw? If I change it, okay, they didn't pay attention. What if I change it this way? And then, oh, there's an ear turn. And you hone in on your craft, and, you know, you always have a gig to go to. They feed you like 3 or 4. You got to commit to like 3 or 4 tip busking things like a month. So you're always doing something, and it just gives you an opportunity to hone in. And that's, I think, what it is. It's like I'd say I put in 20,000 hours. Not to sound braggy, but like church is a way to exercise that talent, but you get kind of pigeonholed in this one particular style, other bands and other things. If you just get out there and stop caring and become expressive and learn what works and what doesn't, then those doorways start to open up, because somebody is now, you know, people are already going to listen. Someone's going to hear you, and then someone's going to be wowed, and those doors start to kind of open.
I'm wondering, as you tell me that, if that's what the difference was at that acoustic show I saw you play, where you just had honed and developed some things that you hadn't had in your toolbox
for
before,
sure.
You know,
for sure. I'm also, and I love a show where you can hear a pin drop and the acoustics are dialed in. You I nerd out over acoustics in a room. You know, start hearing the reverb. How does the vocals and the guitar bounce off the walls in the room? And you start hearing that. I love tuning into that. And I think this is where my years of like church and like, you know, really come into play, because it's all the atmosphere and set and the tone and everything like that. And so I did this at the Moody. I got to play the Moody Performance Hall for Pegasus Contemporary Ballet. It was a contemporary dance, and I got to play a few of my songs live in that way. And there is just something about people just quiet, and you have an opportunity to just sing your song and let the music speak for itself, and the dance off the room, you know, the walls of the room and everything like that. So that Kessler show, man, that was, first of all, that felt magical. The moment I stepped on stage, I was like, oh, I am, this is not, we're not in Kansas anymore. We're stepping on something strong here. This stage, just standing on the Kessler stage, like demanded your respect.
Yeah.
And so being in that room and then have everybody shut up and listen. Man, I was like, okay, I'm going to give them everything I got. Give them everything I've been working hard towards. This is my opportunity, that these times out in that street corner and that bar where everyone's talking over you. This is the time to like really show up for myself. You know, whether they chose to like me or chose to listen to me or not. And I think that's important too, is it's easy to get caught up what other people are doing or listening or thinking. But man, there's a lot to be said when you can hold the show that would be perfect for 10,000 people, and there's only one person in the room, and it's you and the sound guy. You know what I mean? And still putting on the show of a lifetime, because you're not doing it for them anymore. There have been times I play shows in an empty room, and I'm just discouraged, and I'm just kind of like, whatever, I'm just getting through these songs. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for whoever should be there. And those are awful shows. Nobody's going to like that. And if you put that on stage in front of people, people are going to know, people are going to reflect on that. It's when you get out there and you're authentic to yourself and you say, I'm here for me. And I'm going to give the best that I can, because I do this for me. This is my song. It really tells people a lot about who you are as an artist. People really engage. People see and hear and feel that authenticity. And it doesn't matter how many people's ever in the room. And it's going to be the most powerful show you've ever delivered. Yeah. And I think that's the key importance to being on any stage.
Yeah. No, I mean, you had it all working that night for sure.
Man, I was nervous as hell, though. I will say I was sweating bullets.
Yeah.
At one point, I was just like, hey.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, you did, like, everybody was just paying. It was like a dream gig in that sense. And like, I didn't expect it from that show.
I did. I think they said that show was sold out. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I found that after.
Yeah, it was definitely sold out.
That was wild.
Yeah. And it led to this other show that you just played.
And that I just played. Yeah.
Let's close it out with talking about this new album and like your inspiration for some of these songs.
Yeah. So part of the name change to the Midnight House so I can venture and do other things. So I'm dropping a solo album. And it's called A Cosmic Affair. Or just Cosmic Affair, and that's just what it's going to be called.
Like that.
It is different than the music that you have maybe heard me play. You know, I've done Americana and rock and roll, and a little bit of the yacht rock, and all of this. You know, this is completely different. This is, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people. If anything, for its versatility, it's more of this. The inspiration behind it was a lot of. A little bit of Tame Impala, Jim James when he goes solo, a little Unknown Mortal Orchestra. You might hear a little Grizzly Bear, a lot of synthesizers. Nick Lee produced it from the Texas Gentlemen. Him and I teamed up and co-wrote this record. So Crazy Love is going to be the first song that's going to drop. The songs are currently in the mastering phase at the time of this recording. And but I'm looking to drop the first song, Crazy Love, in February.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting. And I'm debuting my first show as a solo artist at Jambaloo.
Jambaloo, yeah.
That'll be my debut. If you will.
Nice. Good place to do it.
It'll be a seven-track record. And it explores a little more. I get a little deeper into, you know, a little more cosmic writing, a little more psychedelic. You know, there's some love tunes in there, Crazy Love and whatnot, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. It explores a little more introspective work of like tackling mental health. You know, with Midnight Howl, I write a little more outwardly, like guiding light. Hey, don't you let that darkness steal your guiding light, you know, that sort of thing. Telling you about the outward, the external of life and living and the state, you know, the world that we live in. The solo stuff is a lot more personal. It tackles about like my traumas, my struggles with my mental health. You know, one of the things I learned within the past couple of years is that I'm diagnosed ADHD, you know, and anxieties and, you know, complex post-traumatic stresses and, you know, stuff like that, and really having to grow up as somebody who's always been undiagnosed as a neurodivergent person. And so a few of the songs really dive into that and really get expressive and talk about my struggles and successes and my growth and just real talk about what all of that looks like. So I'm excited to share all of that, you know, and then I get weird with it and I start singing about, I don't know, some cosmic, you know, woman of the universe. You know, I start like writing a love song to the universe as a cosmic princess, as a cosmic mistress. And there's a song actually called Dandelion Mistress that's on there that kind of gets into that, and a lot of high falsettos and howling, and you know, really leaning into my name, I guess, a little bit too hard, but it's cool. It's a lot of fun. Just to kind of go over the liner notes, it's Nick Lee produced it. He's also playing guitar, does a little backup vocals. I got Mackenzie Adams, who notably sings with the Black Crows as their backing vocalist. She sings on that as well.
Wow.
Paul Grass on drums, Scott Lee on bass, and then Evan Jacobs, who on synth. So Evan plays with, right now he's been playing with Baby Snakes, Jeff Sains.
Oh yeah.
But he's done work with Polyphonic, Spree, and from back in the day. So just a ragtag group.
Yeah,
just doing
it's like you're gonna like be adopted Texas gentleman if you're not too careful.
Yeah. Don't tell Nick that. No, but it's going to be I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping that the plan is that I drop the record. I'm aiming for the summer, but I know for sure that the first single will come in February, and then do a couple more singles after that and roll it out.
Nice. So, excellent.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
Dev, this has been great.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
man.
Stick around, everybody. There's going to be a song off of this this release that's not yet out. And go to Jambaloo. It'll be free. I think I'm going to be there for you.
Yeah, February 11th is my date.
Yep.
Opening for J. Isaiah Evans and the Boss Tweed.
Yep.
And Low Cut Connie.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's going to be sick.
Matthew's going to be able to just leave his keyboards on stage, right?
Yeah, well, I'll have a different band with me for this one.
Gotcha. Oh, that's right. This is the new band. Okay.
This is the new band. So
no Texas Gentleman in the live band.
No gents on this one.
Okay.
Nah, I'm looking at doing an album release party, and I think I'm going to talk to those guys about that. But this will be Poppy Zander on keys.
Oh.
I got Mayo Valdez on drums. Uh-huh. I'll have Andrew Sapolsky and Josh Lowe from The Howl be backing me up and supporting. But Matt and Spud will be dedicated to the Boss Tweed, so they get to sit back and watch this thing, which they're really excited about.
That's cool. Well, hey, thanks again for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
We'll have links to everything, and we'll be keeping an eye on everything coming out.
Sounds good. Come out of the cold, come closer to a flame. Come to the side of that misty plain. You wonder why our seasons change, but you stay the same. Walking the same old path your heart seems to take. And let yourself into a house of a kindred soul. And wrap yourself in a blanket of warm, crazy love. Blanket of warm, crazy love. Find shelter in me, babe, it's starting to rain. Let's watch the lightning strike across that cloudy sky. And we'll get high in the back of my car. Watching the planes take off to a sunny holiday. And that's when I knew I was over my vacation. And you wrapped me in a blanket of warm, crazy love. Get a warm, crazy Find shelter in the babe, it's starting to rain. Find shelter in me, babe, it's starting to rain. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd like to thank Dev Wulf. You can check out his links in the show notes. Thank you to the Deep Ellum Community Center for letting us record here. Theme song Unstoppable by Salim Nirala, and the outro is The Place to Be by Electric Ants. Thanks again to the Mullen the Mullen Music Project for their support. Like, subscribe, and share the podcast, and we'll see you next week.